kitchen. Today's lesson is going to be a field trip because the first step of knowing how to cook for yourself is knowing how to grocery shop. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. What is there to it? You find what you want to eat, you put it in the cart, bada bing, bada boom, just make sure you got the money to pay for it. But there is a little more to it than that. So, first things first, budgeting. You got to take a little extra time to make sure you're getting the best possible price for what you need. Take this bread for example. You could get this fancy $3 artisan bread that makes you feel like pretty elegant, you know? But this store brand bread costs only like $1.40 and there's more slices per loaf, and so it's really a better deal. Okay, so now that you know how to look for the cheapest possible option, the first thing you gotta do is stop the basics. You want to find filling staples that take forever to go bad, because there's only one of you probably, unless your roommate is on this trip with you, which, given how my first two roommates were never actually in the room, I don't really bet money on it. So anyway, you take longer to go through stuff than a family of four, and most stores don't sell things other than lean cuisines in personal sizes. So having a long shelf life is a must. My top picks for filling staples that take a long shelf life are definitely rice and pasta, or, depending on your access to the community freezer, this lovely 2-pound bag of great value frozen hash brown potatoes that cost like $1.50. So the pasta and the rice have pretty much a definite shelf life, and anything in the freezer is going to be your best friend because it has a really long time before it expires. Freezer burn takes at least like 3 months to set in depending on the item. Pasta and rice are non-perishable essentials, and because they have such a long shelf life, you can risk getting a big bag or taking advantage of sales that mean you have to buy 4 of something to get a discount. Okay. Another important essential to have in your cabinet is Bisquick. It's good for pretty much any quick bread you would want. Waffles, pancakes, biscuits, you name it. And Bisquick helpfully prints the recipes for these things right on the box, which is cool of them. But you know you're only going to want pancakes and none of that other stuff. I personally recommend getting the Just Add Water Instant Pancake Mix because it's faster and it requires fewer ingredients. Speaking of pancakes, time-saving tip. If you know you're not going to get tired of them all week, make like a whole bunch on Sunday, and store them in Ziploc bags in your fridge or your freezer in groups of however many you think you're going to want to eat at a time, 2, 3, whatever. Then, when you're rushing to class in the morning, you don't think you've got time for breakfast, yes you do. You just spread those in a single layer on a plate. Paper plates are fine. Put it in your microwave for about 45 seconds, put whatever you want on the top of them, eat it, go. Advanced meal prep is key to time management, both as a student and as an amateur chef. Now, there's no shame in using shortcuts like instant mashed potatoes, those frozen pre-cut hash brown potatoes that I mentioned, frozen diced chicken, instant mashed potatoes, this box dessert mixes, bacon baked cookies, all that stuff. There's no shame in using the shortcuts. Now, some of these shortcuts can be a little bit more expensive than using the long way around, but you gotta decide whether it's worth the extra money to save your time and make up for the fact that you might not have all the necessary skills. One of my favorite shortcuts is the squeezed garlic. It's a lot faster and sticks up your fridge less than using the fresh kind. Now, a reason that I recommend frozen produce over fresh produce is twofold. One, it saves on meal prep time. You don't have to do any slicing, or dicing, or peeling, none of that. 2, it means that the shelf life is longer, and you don't end up with a carton full of moldy strawberries after like a month. Okay, so my favorite kitchen shortcut is by far dried spices like this. Spice blends are going to be your best friend, okay? They're going to save your life. Examples of my personal favorites are Mrs. Dash here, the onion and herb. It's good on pretty much anything. Potatoes, rice, throw it in some ramen noodles for an extra kick. All of it is super good. Now, seasoned salt is good on anything you can put salt on. It is absolutely essential. My favorite thing to put it on is definitely, by far, potatoes. So, Italian seasoning is an essential if you ever plan on making any kind of spaghetti sauce. And it's good in lots of other things too. Just toss it on chicken, anything you need some extra flavor in. Okay, garlic powder. If you remember nothing else, remember garlic powder, because there's literally nothing. There is nothing that cannot be improved by putting garlic powder on it. Except maybe like chocolate chip cookies? I don't know. You just gotta stick to like savory stuff. But garlic powder, must have. Now, poultry seasoning is really good if you ever plan on cooking anything with chicken in it. I even put this in my chicken ramen noodles because it's just that good. It's got sage and a bunch of really great stuff in it. Okay, so now for condiments and some other essentials. First things first, get peanut butter or the nut butter of your choice because it's great for easy sandwiches. And for some other sweet alternatives to jelly, if you don't like it or if it takes too long to use up the whole jar before it goes bad, honey and Nutella have longer shelf lives and they're really delicious. Another thing you should definitely get is spaghetti sauce, some soy sauce if you're into that, some olive oil, and some salt and pepper. These are just the bare minimum of stuff that you want. It's really easy to use them on a lot of different things. You gotta have it in your cabinet. And it might also be a good idea to get some basic nonstick cooking spray and some sugar. One makes pan cleanup a lot easier. The other one sweetens your tea. I'll let you figure out which one is which. I've also found basil pesto really useful because it lasts a long time in the fridge and it goes on a ton of different stuff. Pizza, pasta, bagels, sandwiches, tons of different things. It's one of my favorite condiments. Okay, now for some perishable staples. For most of the stuff, you're gonna need to replace it about every 2 weeks, unless you eat it by then. But butter or margarine is the exception. Now me, I tend to splurge on real butter because I do a lot of baking. But for the particularly broke, there is not a whole lot of actual difference in taste or quality between butter and margarine, which is way cheaper, like 98 cents versus roughly $3. Okay, so now for cheeses. Grated Parmesan is probably the most versatile out of all the cheeses. It's super easy to melt into sauces and you can sprinkle it on top of other foods. And your shredded cheese can serve a lot of the same purposes even though it's harder to melt into sauces and stuff. But you can put it on top of a lot of stuff like your hash browns, your soups, adding a kick to your mac and cheese, put it as a sandwich ingredient. It serves a lot of different versatile purposes. Like the butter and the margarine, it has a little bit of a longer shelf life than some of your other perishables, about 2 to 4 weeks depending on the cheese. But if you see any mold at all, throw that out. Danger. Okay, so half and half. It's great for lots of stuff. It's good to make Alfredo sauce, extra creamy mashed potatoes, really good hot chocolate, put it in your coffee, lots of different uses. In pros column for this versus normal milk, it's creamier and it typically has a longer time for the expiration date. Cons section, it is not tasty to drink on its own. So last but not least, eggs. Also super versatile, basic to have in your refrigerator. Scramble them, make cookies, French toast, pancakes, all that good stuff. They have a pretty long shelf life, and even though the size thing may seem confusing with all the different kinds they have, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in the end. I usually just get large. Now, for all this perishable stuff, you're not going to want to get huge quantities at a time, because it'll go bad. Food waste is just wasting your money, your time, and you go hungry. So, you'll always want to err on the side of small. For a lot of you, this is the first time in your life that you're grocery shopping on your own, meal planning on your own, and cooking on your own, and you don't know how fast you're going to use stuff up yet. And so you just got to learn your habits. If you find yourself going to the grocery store every single week because you use up a half gallon at so fast at a time, then you might want to switch to getting a whole gallon at a time. Save some of that gas money. You're just going to have to learn what you use and how fast you use it. And that is going to depend on what you cook and how often you cook. Okay, so for my parting words, I want to say that you should keep an eye on coupons using apps like coupons.com, Yowza, or SnipSnap. See if your local grocery store has a rewards card of some kind. The cheapest chains I can recommend are Walmart, Aldi, but a meal plan and a budget goes a long way towards saving money. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that little thumbs up so you can find it later. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what kind of foods you want to learn how to make. If you don't want to miss an episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, class dismissed.